Look like an egg. Welcome back. I'm probably just going to shove this on the end. I did plan on finishing this last episode that I was going to do, but no. Look, we've got a door with a hole for the door handle. We don't actually have a door handle yet. I don't know if it's closed. Oh no, it isn't. So yeah, we've got a door, and we've got a edging thing. I don't know. It's like a door board thing. I spent about an hour and a half yesterday, just before I left, because I left about half an hour before my dad. As you can see, the state of the wall. I have sanded all of the wall everywhere. Like you can see all the sand marks. It's horrible. I didn't realise how lumpy this wall was. And my dad was like, "Oh no, I only wanted you to do like the white specks, like where he'd put like filler and stuff in, and like any of the big lumpy bits, like up there and stuff." But I literally just sanded the entire wall by hand, just want to point out, apart from I used an electrical thingy for this bit. But then my dad's obviously filled it in. He must have done that after I'd left, because it wasn't like that yesterday. One of my favourite parts of the house has become just like a crap hole, basically. This is like where we're putting everything for now. I just want to point out, my dad's painted all of the interior part of the wood, so I need to be careful. He's painted, we sanded all the edging of the stairs, and he's painted all like these bits here. I can't pull this too because it has actually got the lock mechanism in it. It just doesn't have a door handle. But as you can see, when the door, like the door handle is there and I am on the stairs here. So my dad was like, "Oh, you needed the door handle like here," because obviously as you've seen from the door, it's not like all wood. Just like, I think there's a bit here and then a bit there that's like actual wood, and then the edging bits. But no, so the door handle is all the way down here because that's the right height on the outside. But then when you're coming down the stairs, my dad was like, "Oh crap, you kind of need the door handle like here," because let me just show you. Say I'm coming down the stairs, I get to here, and I've got to get like all the way down there for the door handle, and he says like you really needed it here. By him saying like, "Oh, we'll move it," it meant like faffing about taking the entire door off, screwing like the whole thing to put the locking mechanism in. I was like, "It's fine, I just don't care, leave it there." I said, as long as you keep your left hand free when you're coming down the stairs, like you're not carrying loads of stuff, it shouldn't be too much of a problem, because you can go duh, 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 and then as you're coming down the step there, as you're bending down, you can push your hand down. As long as it's a pushy handle, not a twisty, you can make it work. I have sanded that door. I mean, it kind of partially looks white, it's not. In fact, has he painted that? I think he's painted that. He has painted that. He's painted all the edging around here, apart from... Oh no, he has painted that. So yeah, door is painted. Bathroom is still... I know, he's left the toilet seat up again. My dad's disgusted. There's no progress in the bathroom yet because my dad has wanted to get all the little jobs done. By little jobs, I mean like the edges and stuff like that, because then once we've done like shower, and then it's going to be onto like tiling, and then painting and like covering the top parts of the wall. It's like bathroom nearly done. Bedroom is nearly done, apart from carpet. We've brought the throne, and then the shower tray, and then the sink upstairs for now. Oh, and that's the boarding that I was on about that I don't think actually went back. It's a hardback 250 cement board, apparently. But that's going to go here. I think my dad's building a fake wall. Not like plasterboard, but just... Or it might be plasterboard, I don't know. But he's on about putting a fake wall, because obviously the piping, he wants to hide the piping behind a fake wall, and then put that cement stuff up on top of that, so then the shower's got like an extra layer of protection. I don't know. Look at this mess. I give up. You know, like I said, oh yeah, I stopped cleaning. I have. I tried to reorganize. I tried to reorganize everything and keep everything on the window edge so we could keep the space like clear. But my dad's just messy, so yeah. Look, guys, I can't remember what I've recorded these days, but no, look, we've got the cabinet is literally fully joined together by my dad, and that's how it's going to be, because obviously the door is there. My dad has gone over this with like filler, and today, because obviously as you can see it's daylight, I'm recording this at like 10 o'clock in the morning because I don't sleep and I've got work in a couple of hours. But no, this is currently progress in the kitchen so far. I cleaned out all of the cabinets, all of the drawers. My dad's started filling them with crap, well not crap, but it's obviously stuff we need, but my dad started filling them already. I cleaned all these out. It doesn't look clean on camera. There is like stains to them because, like I said, I'm pretty sure somebody used to, it's like those stains there, they will not come off. But for now, it's like I said to my dad, I just want to get things kind of clean, because even when I move in, everything's going to get like flashed again, but like with not bleach, but sanitizer stuff, because when I'm moving in, I don't want to be touching any of the filth and everything that was here before. My dad, this is specifically for my friend, because my friend pointed it out many times. My dad has fixed the lining. Sorry, I need to cut my fingernails. This was out of line. This was like hanging down further than it should have been. My dad's fixed it. So now, as you can tell, he's definitely fixed it, because it's not even soft closing, but it closes without banging. Whereas this one, like you close it, bang, and the dirt is gone. The kitchen, it's not painted. It's just, we've been using, like I mentioned before, my dad's been using the kitchen as like the leftover paint. So anytime he's been painting, anything that's left on the roller, he'll just come and like put in here just to obviously use up the last bit of, or like, if he's got any left in his tray thing. Also, guys, I can show you the house properly, apart from obviously the window like outside and everything. I've managed to get the listing taken off of Rightmove, so you can't reverse image search like anything of the house now. So standing by the back door, this was the kitchen. Obviously, this was all red. This was red. This is just proving how bad the red is to cover. But guys, in fact, no. Yeah, that was a little sneak peek. That was the living room. I'll show you upstairs first. So my dad obviously put the door on. We've got a problem that due to the moisture, like there's not a lot of moisture in the air, but as you can hear, the door has swelled because it's been sat up. I can't even get it open all now. There's no, there we go. So my dad's gonna have to, because he's painted it as well, not the door, but like the frames and stuff, he's gonna have to like chisel down some of the side pieces. I do apologise for the noise, like I said, it's daytime, windows are open, but look at the ceiling up here. Ta-da! It looks like a normal ceiling now. It didn't look like there was anything there before. Like there was no plasterboard or anything, it's just a normal white ceiling. As you can tell by this back wall, it's not fully painted. Again, my dad's used that as like with the kitchen. Anything left on the roller is just kind of painted that middle bit with. I cleaned the top of that, oh that's convenient because that's there. I cleaned, you can't see, but there used to be like straw and stuff on top of it. I cleaned all the top of the cabinet. And when we first got the keys and everything, this was the very first job that I did. I cleaned like the fronts and the inside of these two cabinets. Like this was my first OG job, but I'd forgotten to clean like the side bits, and then well, I've not obviously done the bottom properly because there's tape stuff that I need to like scrape off, but I've done like all the edges and stuff. The piece de resistance, I'll get back to that in a minute. Obviously, as you can see, there's a door. I don't know what I've mentioned, but my dad's a little bit annoyed, because, not at me personally. Obviously, Tuesday was both exhausted, so I cleaned that and my dad painted some of it, like he did the ceiling, like a coat in the stairwell. When we painted the bedroom, he asked me to paint all the edges. It could just roll like the main parts of the walls and stuff, but he was like, oh, you've done it a bit too thick. I'm like, well, he should have said, like, make sure you do like a thin layer or something. I don't think he trusts me in painting, so yesterday, came down, and I literally just sat in the living room with him while he painted the entire living room. Got a new door. There's a door frame here, kind of. Well, there's wood where a door would have been, because you can even see, like, you can even see in, we can't hear, but you can just tell with the framing of it, there would have been a door here before, whereas on this bit, like I said on the last part, it's just solid wood. And my dad was like, they want 50 quid for an actual door frame. And he says he can just get some wood. The wood's upstairs, I'm not going to go back up. We need to build a door frame around here to then put this door on. My dad obviously wants to separate the living room from the kitchen. But then I says to my dad, I was like, if it's going to be too much work, I says, because originally I says I wanted the door on this frame in the living room. So then when you're in the kitchen, you don't have to faff around with a door here, and you've got the pantry that's open anyway. So someone was like, well, if it's going to be too much work to make a frame, why don't we just use the frame that's already there and just use the door in the kitchen part? He's like, oh, no. He says, like, he agreed, and he says it would look better having a door here, and then just keeping all this bit, like, open. So when you are cooking in the kitchen, you can come through to the pantry, you're not, like, faffing around with doors and stuff, which makes sense. Let me just show you. So that's what the wall looks like before. And obviously we've had to kind of just chuck everything to one side of the wall for now to try and make space to be able to do the rest. Because like we said, the ceiling's done with it. Well, it's not done. The ceiling needs multiple more, like it all needs multiple more coats in here. But my dad says it's like, well, if we paint now, the big final jobs are going to be like carpet and stuff, and then like the room is done. So then if we go back to like finishing the bathroom and stuff, all that will be left is like the kitchen and carpets and stuff, and then like everything's done. So we're aiming for like 4 weeks now, hopefully, for me to move in. Look how white it is. It's so clean, and it's so just nice and clean looking. Obviously you can tell the before and the after with the before wall and the white now. There are some obviously like bad spots, like especially over here. There was you can't really tell on camera, but there's like a blob in the middle there. What would have been like a picture on the wall. Where I live now, because I'm renting privately, I have to give a month's notice. I pay my rent every 9th of the month, so I says to my dad, like, ideally, we need to find out when it would be a good time, like how long we've got till we move, like till I move in, and then come the 8th of the month, I can be like, send a letter to my landlord and be like, right, this is obviously notice that this is my notice, 4 weeks time, so this is the last month. But then obviously it's coming up, it's like currently what, 2nd of April? 3rd of April? I think it's 3rd of April, I don't know. So it's coming up for the next month, and now I'm like saying to my dad, do you think we're going to be done in 4 weeks? Because if I give notice on this coming next week, the 8th of April, obviously I will be out of the flat that I'm in now on the 8th of May. Otherwise, I have to wait till the 8th of May to give notice for the 8th of June. Guys, I'm a little bit annoyed. I hope you're all doing well. Sorry, bad angle. Hello. It's very early. I'm at the house, obviously, as you can tell. So I'm a little bit annoyed because I've got my work uniform on because I don't intend to go home now until I go to work. I've got some boxes in my car that I've managed to get for packing, because I've started packing, because like I said, yesterday, technically, I'll get back into that in a minute. Yesterday was the first day that I gave my landlord notice of, like, leaving. It's not eviction. I'm evicting myself from the premises, basically. I'll get back to that into a minute. I've got some boxes in my car, and obviously, as we all know by now, my street that I currently live on, in the flat, is parking permit only. I don't have a parking permit anymore because I got gifted my friend's relatives' pass when they left. That ran out. Obviously, long story short, I got a parking ticket on the very last day that the permit was valid for, but obviously I wasn't displaying the date, so it technically wasn't a valid permit because there was no date showing. But anyway, so this morning the plan was I was walking up to my car, quickly drive it down to my front door, running with the boxes, because like when I tell you, the box, like say from here to about the end of this like sink, so literally I've got no like depth perception, but this is an arm, and then this is my other arm here, so it's literally like arms wide. I thought, well, because there's no parking wardens around, I can get away with like it's literally parking up for like 30 seconds, if that. As I'm walking up to my car, there is not one but two parking wardens walking down the street, like heading towards the road, because obviously it's not technically the same, it's classed as two different streets where my flat is to then where I park my car. It's the same road, but it's just two different streets. They're walking down towards the street that I'm going to be parking on. I'm like, well, I like literally, my car is facing the wrong way as well, and where I park, because everybody else parks there, because there are other people that obviously don't have permits as well, it turtlenecks the cars onto the road, so you've got a road, but then you've got cars parked on both sides, so there's no way to turn around like really quickly, so I have to drive up the road, get to the end of the road and then like turn around back on my side. I don't have enough time for this, so I'm like, well, great. Now I've left the house earlier. I did intend to come here anyway. The other reason why I intended to come here was because me and my dad are a bit schmiffed at our local council at the minute, because they're very quickly, because technically my dad's put down that he's living here, because obviously it's his house. So the council are like, oh, here's a standing charge, even though this house wasn't standing for more than a year, but I think it was over 6 months. Guys, it's noisy, let me move. Our bin collection is on a Friday. Put the bin out. Bear in mind, the bin isn't full of like building material, like, you know, like plasterboard and stuff like that. It's not full of that. It's full of like just general waste stuff, that like bags and stuff of like, we've got like cloths and towels, and it's just like the plastic rubbish that came from that. So like your general waste, it's not the incorrect waste. We put the bin out Thursday, come Friday, bin's not emptied. My dad rings up the council and they're like, oh, obviously my bad, mistakes are made. Give us 3 working days to empty your bin. Bear in mind it's Friday, so Saturday, Sunday doesn't count as a working day. So we're like, oh, well, great, now we've got to wait till Wednesday. And then my dad was like, well, are you going to take bin bags as well that's left by the bin? Because obviously now we've got an accumulated worth of rubbish and there's a potential rat problem because we've got nowhere to put our rubbish. I was like, oh, no, silly, because when we empty your bin, you can then put that rubbish in your bin. But then my dad was like trying to get through to them that we're always going to constantly have extra rubbish now because we've waited longer than the actual usual time to have our rubbish collected. And the bin still hasn't been emptied. And I'm like, great, so we've got to make another call to the council. Although, I'm going to give them till tonight when I come round to the house after work, because obviously they said by the end of 3 working days, and obviously it's the beginning of the day. And for all I know, obviously they're not collecting this area, so they might, well, obviously they will be. They'll be getting a lorry from like a different collection area to come and get it last off or first off or whatever. I've just got no faith in my council whatsoever. I've packed all of my books away, guys. Like every single book I now own is in a box, apart from one. I've got 3 books out. One of them is, I can't remember what the book's called. I started reading it and I stopped because I got bored of it. It was like some supermarket by the sea. I left that out, didn't realise, packed all of the books, and then I left 2 other books out that are on currently lend from my friends. One of them that I'm already reading called 6 Stories. So I thought, well, if I leave my friends' books out, that'll give me the incentive to actually read their books that they borrowed me, because I said to them when I saw them the other day that I don't like holding on to stuff for too long when it's on loan, like when they borrowed me. So the book content, there's probably going to be, well, there's going to be no video for what I read in March, because there will be nothing that I read. He's put a trim, so this is a lecky box where it's got like all the fuse stuff in it, where we're going to like connect the shower. Well, as you can see, that very thick wire, one of these wires over here for the shower. But no, so he's taken the door handles off. He's wanting to do something with the hinges. That was it, because, well, I don't want to close it because it's drying. Well, it's dry, but it's not fully dry. He's put like a trim around the front, and then I think he's wanting to put one around this side at some point. Yesterday, so he's brought all the plug sockets. I think he's going to keep that one because he said it looks, I mean, it doesn't look clean on camera because it's got duct tape around it. Not duct tape, but like painter's tape. But this one is as bad as, you know, I'll show you in a minute. There's that one in the kitchen. But he went to change this one yesterday, and apparently, I'm not an electrician. I nearly was. I failed the exam to get into the college, but there's something to do with the earth cable. There's the live wire, some other cable, but there's a lack of earth cable or something. So my dad was like, yeah, I'm not touching that. So we've left that. But can you just see the difference of, like, this is how white the living room is now, to like, this is, we've got a light as well now so you can see, this is the pantryway. Look how yellow that looks to then how white that looks. Bear in mind this has taken so many coats because my dad didn't get the best paint, so it needed multiple layers. I don't know if you'll be able to see on camera, there is a dark patch that my dad's basically said that we'll just leave now, so I'm kind of contemplating painting that as a technical feature wall, which I'll get to in a minute, but I don't know if you can see like a darkness on camera here, to like say if you look at that wall to how white that is, to then how dark this bit in the middle here is. Like I said, because we've got all that wooden crap kind of bordered against this wall, when I was painting we did multiple layers on this wall, and all the way around here we painted like all of this, and then up to like there, left like a great big square patch in the middle where we've got like boards like just crap against the wall, and then painted around the edge bit here. So there is like a square patch that's had a couple of layers less paint than the rest of the room, so it's showing through more. The horrible blind that doesn't fit, which actually I've said that now, he's cut it down. So obviously, as you can see, there's like before, the blind would have come down to like here on the wall, because there was that many things, because it was a long blind. He's taken off some of these, but then he didn't realise that when you lift the blind, I'm not going to lift it up because I don't want to show you outside my house. He didn't realise that they was weighting it down. So when you pull this up, sorry noise, when you pull the cable to lift the blind like up, there's now no weight in it, so you have to like pull it down. When I said that I wanted to paint this room, it's like, right, so which one's going to be your feature wall? All of these walls so white because I'm only going to have one wall painted. I'm like, it's going to look so stupid having like one wall, like a really thick dark green, to then white everywhere else, and then have like brown as well. So I need to kind of like get him into the mindset of not just white. So that's that. The door is fixed, so it's not catching any, well, as I say, it's not catching anymore. Before it kind of like swelled and it was struggling to open. It's basically just shaved off a bit. He found this yesterday. So basically he took out the thing that was in here, because before there was something in there, and it meant that with the door handle, it was one of those locks where you basically have to like move the lock down and it latches on, whereas this one, it's basically just a push pull. So it doesn't actually lock in place. It doesn't matter if you've got like a handle. You just push and pull the door and it'll open no matter what. Like, you don't have to have the mechanism that like twists it. I don't know. I'm not very smart, but basically you don't have to lift the door handle up and down. So he was like, what about this? And I was like, actually that'd be great, because when you're coming down the stairs, you can just push the door open. And obviously when you're coming down the stairs and you can't actually reach the door handle, it'd be nice to like push it and still be able to open it. But the whole stairwell is white, guys. It's so clean. It's painted it all. The only thing I don't like, he says he's put some filler where this frame is against the wall. He's put some filler stuff, and I don't like it. But like I said, it's not my house yet, so I have to live with it for now. Bedroom. I'm not even going to go in, there's nothing different. It's left the toilet friggin' seat up again. I love this phone, and I hate it because now apparently, with an update recently, from the side, if you pull the side inwards, it's to like go back. So I just accidentally cut off the recording from what I was just going from. I put some, they're not drilled in, they're just kind of like up. I mean, these are drilled into the wood that's on the wall, but the wood isn't drilled into the wall yet because my dad didn't have the right drill. So like that bit up there, that was from the T-block, you know, like I mentioned in the last vlog about the T like wooden pole that I was using to hold the plasterboard up to help my dad put up in the stairwell. Well, that's why there's a nail, like that's why there's a screw in the middle. As you can see, there's some floorboards, which means there's a floorboard that is taken up there, because obviously he's looking at replumbing all these pipes here, because obviously this pipe goes to the toilet, this pipe goes down there, spoiler alert, you can see a hole there, and all this to do like the shower and the hot water intake and everything is on about changing all the piping. But no, look, surprise, that there, that floor bit there is the actual ceiling of the kitchen, so yeah, that's going to be fun, and that's what obviously was on it before. I spoke to my landlord yesterday and I was like, right, I'm leaving. And he was like, I'd overheard him about a week ago go upstairs to the two other neighbours, one that's been there 25 years, and say, oh, I'm selling up in 3 years. I was tidying up. I got a few other boxes as well. I've got like quite a lot of boxes now to keep me going for a bit. And obviously I felt bad because I had got his address, because on my initial contract when I moved in, it was a 6-month short-term contract that then turned into a think it's called a periodic contract after that. I'm not sure the correct term, but basically it was a 6-month contract and then it turned into like a 1-month rolling contract. So I just pay rent every month and it's just like a rolling 1-month contract. So then when it's time to leave, the contract rules go by the original contract, which is obviously I still have to give a month's notice. So I'm like, oh, great. So it's got my landlord's address on, who lives nearby to where I currently live at the flat. And I felt bad because I texted him on Monday and says, hi, can you come by the flat? If you're available between these times in the morning or these times in the afternoon, can you nip by the flat? Because I've got a letter of notice to give you because I plan on moving out on the 8th of May. And it's like I was saying to my mum, I was like, I felt really bad because I was like, I'm leaving, here's my letter, but you come to me and take it. But I didn't want to be like, because I said to him, I said, I wanted to give it to you in person because I don't trust that I'd post it and you'd get it without it being lost. And obviously it was the 8th, so I needed him to have it the 8th because it has to be the 8th because I pay my rent on the night. I pay my rent on the 9th. So if I didn't give it in yesterday, it would have then gone on to this month. So then I wouldn't have been able to move out till the 8th of June. So he comes round. I purposely, because like I said, my flat is in a semi-detached house. So as you go in through the front door, you come into the hallway where the stairs are to go upstairs to the 2 flats, and then there's my flat, and then, well, there's the first flat, and then there's another flat at the back, which is mine. So he lets himself through into the main hallway part. I didn't hear him come in. I'm busy like packing, and I hear him knocking on like the interior door, which is like the door into my flat. I'm like, oh crap, is it? Like he came a bit early. So I'm like, oh, 1 minute. So I'm moving everything around because I've got stuff everywhere. I can't even get to the door. So I answer the door, obviously talk to him, tell him about like what's happening and everything. And he says like, so he says it'd be sad that you're going. He says, I bet it's been, these were his exact words. He was like, it's a shame for you to go. I bet you've enjoyed it here. It's been nice and peaceful and quiet and no problems or anything. I'm like, yeah, it's been nice. Like, yeah, thumbs up, 10 out of 10, best flat I've ever lived in. Then it's like, on top of that, so he then turned around and says like, oh, can I come, like, because as I got the door open, I started backing away as if to say, right, I'm going, like, I've got to go. He's like, oh, that's going to need some work doing. I'm like, well, yeah, if you want. And then he's like, oh, actually, he says, do you think there's going to be a lot of work that needs doing inside the flat? Bear in mind, I've got mould on the ceiling, which I need to sort before I move. And like mould just scattered around. I'm like, no, like you won't need much doing, just a bit of paint and everything. Do you mind if I come in and have a look around? I'm like, oh, like, because if you walk into the flat, like as you take a few steps forward, the mould hits you, like it's to the right hand side as you go in. But I knew full well that if he entered this flat, he would see all the mould on the ceiling. I didn't want him coming in. I got boxes everywhere. I got like clothes on the like dirty laundry on the floor because I just got changed from work. I'm like, not right now. And he's like, oh, okay, no worries. But I know full well that he's going to want to come in at some point and like have a look around. But I'm probably going to make this the end of the vlog because I don't even know how much footage I've got for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Trying to hit 100 subscribers by June the 23rd when it's my birthday. So yeah, thanks for watching and I will see you whenever.